Welcome back. It's April 1st, April Fool's Day. We'll talk about that along with some other things about April 1st. We'll have a word, a doctor, an actor, a song, and a quote. And I just got through watching a YouTube short that just struck me as funny, and it's funnier every time I watch it. You know, those shorts will play over and over for you. I have laughed until I cried, which was a silly thing for me to do when I'm getting ready to narrate, but here we are. Alrighty. Anyway, grab your favorite cuppa, sit back, and let's see about April 1st. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for April 1st. April 1st is the 91st day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 92nd in leap years, with 274 days remaining to the end of the year. April 1st is the first day of the second quarter of the year and the midway point of the first half of the year, as well as the ever-popular April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day is an annual custom in many countries across the world when people play pranks, pull hoaxes, and practical jokes. There are several competing ideas as to the origin of April Fool's Day, so let's just say it's been around since at least the 1500s, probably even as far back as the 1300s. I always think it's especially funny when someone you wouldn't think would pull an April Fool's prank does. And one of my faves, as I've mentioned before, is Water on Mars, where I first saw it on NASA's astronomy picture of the day way back in the 20-aughts, April 1st. I went back to NASA's astronomy picture of the day website, and it looks like it now only goes back to 2015, unless I'm missing something. But if you ever want to sit and scroll through some really cool space images, some photographs, some artists' renderings, check out NASA's Astronomy Picture of the Day, APOD, NASA's APOD website. I have also discovered that NASA APOD also has a YouTube page, so some pretty cool videos there related to space and astronomy, and I'll leave links to both of those for you in the description. Today's word is asemic. Spell check keeps wanting to change it to anemic, and Merriam-Webster doesn't even have it, but I promise it's a real word. Turns out asemic is a fascinating word, especially if you're into art, writing, or linguistics. Asemic, which can be pronounced asemic or asemic, is an adjective that describes something without specific semantic content. In other words, something without meaning. It's most commonly used to describe a type of writing or marks that look like text but have no actual readable meaning. You might hear about asemic writing or asemic art, where the shapes, flow, and rhythm of what looks like handwriting or calligraphy are purely visual and expressive, not linguistic. I've noticed that most of the time when trying to get an AI picture that might have writing or words, that writing or those words look like they're supposed to be words, but they don't make that kind of sense. They're asemic. All of these images, by the way, are images I asked Midjourney to imagine for this segment. Most of the writing is asemic. Other examples might include an artist's canvas covered in asemic script, evoking the feeling of language without the burden of words. Asemic writing invites viewers to interpret meaning subjectively without the constraints of grammar or vocabulary. Interesting concept, but a little frightening to a word person like me. The word asemic comes to us from Greek with the prefix a meaning without and semic meaning sign or mark. So it literally means without sign or without meaning. First known use is around the 1970s when experimental artists and poets began using it to describe this kind of abstract visual writing. I hear that asemic writing has become an entire movement in the world of visual poetry and abstract art used to explore the boundary between language and art, and the subjective nature of meaning itself. Some people compare it to jazz improvisation, but with letters. Today's word Asemic was suggested by YouTube viewer @TRamsire. Thanks, Teresa. And if you have a word you'd like us to look into here in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll check it out. And with that, this is the birthday of physician Dr. William Harvey, born April 1st, 1578 in Kent, England. While some doctors had written about certain aspects of the circulatory system before, Dr. Harvey was the first known physician to describe completely and in detail pulmonary and systemic circulation, as well as the specific process of blood being pumped to the brain and the rest of the body by the heart. Bless his heart. I remember seeing a diagram of the circulatory system with his name on it in a doctor's office many years ago. Dr. Harvey lived to the age of 79. This is the birthday of actor Lon Chaney, born April 1st, 1883 in Colorado Springs, Colorado in the U.S. Interestingly, both his parents were deaf, so Lon learned and became skilled at communicating in American Sign Language. He came to be known as the Man of 1,000 Faces due to his ability to transform himself using makeup techniques. Aficionados of old movies might remember him from the 1923 silent movie The Hunchback of Notre Dame and 1925's The Phantom of the Opera. Sadly, Lon Chaney only lived to the age of 47. In 1957, a movie about Lon Chaney was released, Man of 1,000 Faces, starring James Cagney as Lon Chaney. The film, however, took many creative liberties, as Lon Chaney was famously private and disliked the Hollywood spotlight. He rarely shared details about his personal life, once remarking, "Between pictures, there is no Lon Chaney." Lon's son Creighton joined the family business, you could say, becoming an actor after his father's death. You can find Creighton billed as Creighton Chaney in movies from 1931 to about 1935, and then the movie studios started billing him as Lon Chaney Jr. and putting him in monster and horror movies. But today we're talking about his dad, Lon Chaney, who lived to the age of 47. Lon Chaney. Today's song is Eternal Flame by the Bangles. Eternal Flame is what is known as a power ballad, which is a slow tempo song sung in an emotional style, often building to a crescendo. An actual eternal flame typically serves to commemorate something significant and or serve as a symbol of an enduring nature. The song Eternal Flame was written by Bangles member Susanna Hoffs with songwriters Billy Steinberg and Tom Kelly. The metaphorical concept of an eternal flame for this song was inspired by separate experiences that two of the three songwriters had had. For Ms. Hoffs, it was the eternal flame at the gravesite of Elvis Presley at Graceland. And for Steinberg, it was a sanctuary lamp in the synagogue where he grew up, the light of that lamp representing an eternal flame. All in all, the idea of an eternal flame represents something meaningful and enduring. The song Eternal Flame was recorded in 1988 and released in January of 1989. Hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on April 1st, 1989, as well as achieving number 1 status in a number of other countries. Eternal Flame by the Bangles, link in the description. And whether you're a fan of history, art, or music, I hope you learned something new today. And I thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Today's quote is from Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, who said, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." Steve Jobs. Alrighty, take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time. And watch out for those April Fool's pranks. Asemic. Isn't... Oh, get your microphone. Dang it. Okay. From... where is it? Okay. And with that, let's see if we can scoot me up a little bit here. And with that, there you go. Now let's do that again. right there. Okay. And there's the air conditioner again. Are we rolling? Good. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoyed this series, you can check out the playlists in the description. You can find me on BitChute, Facebook, Odyssey, Rumble, YouTube, and X, as well as on a blog page called No Really. All those links are in the description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.